Hello guys, welcome to another trading concepts video. Today we'll be talking about the daily and the session profiles. In this series we've already discussed how to spot liquidity, how to understand the higher time frame daily bias, and how to frame and anticipate the price moving from one level to the other, basically understanding the narrative for the price. And now we are at a phase where we need to understand how to go from the narrative to the execution level. And daily and session profiles will help us in exactly that, anticipating our setups and how the day will play out basically. So let's jump right into it. So what is liquidity? Again, I have discussed it in the previous videos. Obviously, my previous videos are the prerequisites for these the following videos. So make sure to check out them. Make sure to check out the AMD videos and the market maker model videos, and you'll be more in touch with the concepts I have been explaining throughout this series. So liquidity is the open interest of buyers and sellers in the market and can be further defined by entities around specific price levels. So there are two types of liquidities. The external range liquidities, which is more or less the liquidity pools that we find around the range highs and the lows, and the internal range liquidities, which are the fair value gaps, the arrays, the imbalances inside a particular predefined range. So, why is a narrative important? The narrative helps us understand the most likely scenario for how the price will move from the current levels to the draw on liquidity. Markets will always shift from one price level to the other using either a market maker model or an AMD model. So you can anticipate the transition between the various stages of a market maker or an AMD model by applying the context of time through weekly and daily profiles. Again, we can apply daily and session profiles to combine the time and price and transition smoothly from the narrative to the execution phase. So, the session profiles basically, I personally only trade the London and the New York session. So I look for entries in those two particular sessions only. So focusing on an entry in a London session. So there are two particular narratives for an entry or a setup forming in the London session. The first one is the London reversal. So the London reversal also takes place through two cases that we look more deeply into. So the first case is a sweep happening in the London session. So we look for possible sweep of significant accumulation across the Asian session between 20:00 to 00:00 Eastern Standard Time. Reaction of an array and a sweep of significant lows leading to a CIOF entry setup formation. Shift in order flow and continuation in London session is imminent. If sweep in if sweep happens between the 00:00 or 02:00 Eastern Standard Time, we better add extra confirmation across coherent and underlying assets like SMT and deviations. For example, if we are looking for a London reversal setup and a sweep in London on maybe the geo chart, and the sweep happens in this particular time frame, the 00:00 to 02:00 Eastern Standard Time, then we better add extra confirmation across coherent pairs. So what are the coherent pairs to GEO? EU moves similarly and in coherence with GEO usually. So we look at EU if the similar kind of move is unfolding across both the pairs, or we look at the underlying assets like the dollar index chart. So we look for SMTs and deviations across the coherent and the underlying assets. Another case for the London reversal narrative is a turtle soup entry. The turtle soup entry setup forms through sweep of significant lows after viable accumulation, preferably inside the 0200 to the 0500 window. We need a clear market maker model and an order flow that should support the order as well. So, if you're looking for turtle soup entries anytime, anywhere, two most important and two non negotiable criterias are that we need to have a clear market maker model and we need to have an order flow either on the hourly or on the 4-hour that supports the market maker model. Reaction of the arrays and a clean sweep leading to a turtle soup entry formation is the ideal scenario that we look for. Shift in order flow and the continuation in London session should follow the turtle soup entry. In both the scenarios in the London reversal, both the sweep in London and turtle soup entry scenarios, we anticipate the low of the day being formed in the London session itself. As we can see here, in this illustration, we have the Asian session accumulation marked out. Here we can see in the London session, we have a sweep of the Asian lows as well as we tap inside a higher time frame PD array before price reacts off those levels and pushes higher, giving us a change in order flow. And now entry can be taken for this idea in two particular ways. So either we go for we have a strong market maker model in coherence with the order flow on the hourly or on the 4-hour, and we can look for a direct turtle soup entry right below these lows here, or we can wait for a CIOF entry formation, which is the change in order flow entry formation on the execution time frame, which is the lower time frame. So here we have the London continuation narrative, and the only case that we look at through which the London continuation narrative plays out is through a sweep in the Asian session. So we are looking for a possible sweep of significant accumulation in Asian session, which is before the midnight open, which happens at 0000 Eastern Standard Time. We need to see a good shift in order flow and continuation moving towards the London session. A turtle soup entry setup through sweep of significant accumulation formed in either London or the end of Asia is what we anticipate. Reaction of an array or a sweep leading to a CIOF entry setup formation. So as we can see here, we have the London session entry profile where we have already swept the Asian lows and tapped into the higher time frame array inside the Asian session itself, and we see a shift in order flow anticipating the continuation model, and here we can see a prominent accumulation across the starting of the London session or towards the end of the Asian session. We see some accumulation and price forming a internal turtle soup entry setup, giving us a continuation narrative move inside the London session. Then the next type of entry is the New York entry, the entry in the New York session. And again, there are two narratives that we look at. One is the New York reversal, and New York reversal usually plays out again through two cases. The first one being the sweep in New York, which is a possible sweep of significant lows after accumulation across Asian and London session. Reaction of an array or a sweep leading to a CIOF entry setup formation is something we look forward to. Shift in order flow and continuation in New York session needs to happen after the CIOF entry setup formation. If we sweep in the gray zone, add extra confirmation across coherent and underlying assets like SMTs and deviations. So, what is the gray zone? Gray zone is something that I don't discuss outside my personal Discord group or outside the members in my group, but gray zone is basically the time period, the 2-hour window from 0500 to 0700, which is the 2-hour window between the London Open and the New York Open kill zone. And what we have observed is that this particular gray zone offers a lot of sweeps, a lot of changes in order flow, but they usually fail to hold. When trading sweeps or changes in order flow inside the gray zone, one needs to be really careful, really aware of the scenarios and the conditions they are trading in. And if you're going forward with it, you need to add extra confirmation across coherent and underlying assets with SMTs and deviations. The next other scenario, the other case for a New York reversal entry would be the turtle soup entry. The turtle soup entry sets up through sweep of significant lows after viable accumulation, preferably inside the 0800 to 1000 EST window. Again, for a turtle soup entry, we need a clear market maker model, and the order flow should support the model as well on the hourly or on the 4 hour. Reaction of an array and a clean sweep leading to a turtle soup entry setup formation is necessary. Shift in order flow and continuation in the New York session should follow after that entry setup formation. In this illustration, we are understanding the New York reversal model where we see the manipulation and sweep of either the London lows or the Asian session lows, followed by a change in order flow or a possibility of a turtle soup entry setting up in the right conditions. The next narrative is the New York continuation narrative. Again, we have two scenarios through which the New York continuation narrative can set up. First one being the sweep in Asian session, which is a possible sweep of significant accumulation in the Asian session, which is right before the midnight open at 0000 Eastern Standard Time. We need to see a good shift in order flow and continuation in the London session. Turtle soup entry formation through sweep of significant accumulation formed in the London or the grey zone. We need to see a reaction of an array or a sweep leading to a CIOF entry setup formation. So now the next possible case for a New York continuation narrative is the sweep in London. Possible sweep of significant accumulation is seen in London session, which is between 0200 to 0500 Eastern Standard Time. Good shift in order flow and continuation in London session in case CIOF entry is not formed. Turtle soup entry setup through sweep of significant accumulation formed in London or in grey zone is the entry trigger for us. Reaction of an array or a sweep leading to a CIOF entry setup formation is what we look forward to. Again, in this illustration here we have the London session already putting in the low of the day by sweeping the Asian accumulation here. If we see a prominent change in order flow after the low being put in, we can start to look for continuation entries through a sweep of subtle accumulation across the end of the London session and the grey zone, or even towards the start of the New York open kill zone. And we see a turtle soup entry setup forming, which can help us get into positions respecting the New York continuation narrative. So here is an example on the 5-minute time frame on the Euro USD chart. We have a clear accumulation starting from the PM session all the way across the Asian session. A sweep of these Asian highs inside the London session above the true day open, which is the midnight open, in accordance with the red folder news events, gave us a clean CIOF entry, leaving behind a 5-minute order block and a fair value gap, which was filled in to the pip and gave us a simple 1:2 ratio trade. This is an example of a turtle soup entry in the London session on the Euro USD chart or Euro USD 1 hour chart. As we can clearly see, we have a market maker buy model with the initial consolidation, the distribution, the reversal and accumulation in multiple stages. Here we had suspended weak lows overlapping a fair value gap which was coherent with a hourly order block as well. Here we sweep these lows, these weak lows, and close well and truly above these Asian lows, finding support at the exact 50% encroachment level of this fair value gap outline. And here we targeted the initial consolidation, aiming for a simple 1:2 ratio trade. Here we are on the S&P 500 chart on the 15-minute time frame, where we have a clear consolidation across the Asian and the London Open session, which we take out along with the previous day's lows here, giving us a double sweep and a New York reversal session profile playing out. We got a simple change in order flow, entering off the order block left behind during the change in order flow, and we go forward taking out the Asian highs eventually. This is another example of the New York continuation session profile, where we have swept the Asian lows inside Asia itself, putting in the low of the day, and then we had a slow grinding consolidating London session, and we saw accumulation towards the end of the London session as well as inside the grey zone. So this is the grey zone, and towards the start of the New York Open as well. And then we had a turtle soup entry setup where we place the stops below the Asian lows and target these highs, giving us a simple 1:2 ratio trade. Another example here showing the New York session turtle soup entry reversal profile. So here we can clearly see on the gold chart on the hourly that the price is an uptrend and inside a market maker buy model. Here we can see that the price is consolidating for almost a week before taking out these particular lows and giving us a double sweep in the process as well. Then we push higher and we see price consolidating after the PM session across the Asian and the London session as well, and towards the New York Open we sweep this entire consolidation as well as sweep the low of the previous day's New York session, giving a turtle soup entry inside the market maker buy model, respecting the order flow, aiming the initial consolidation here, placing the stops below these particular highs. So that's it for today's video. I think we have covered more or less all the session profiles. There are a few rules, more or less a few hard and fast rules about the daily profiles, which are not in depth but are very important and will help you mitigate your losses and avoid a lot of losing trades, which I'll be only sharing in my Discord channel. I'll be only sharing that concise PDF of the daily and session profiles as well inside my Discord channel. So make sure you join the Discord channel. Link is in my bio. It's free of cost. Make sure you join it for all the updates of the new videos as well as daily updates on the charts as well. And till then, I only say one thing, that just keep on doing your work and let time do the heavy lifting. Today we had a really great session where we discussed all the examples in depth, discussed all the session profiles. We'll be more or less dropping another concepts video soon this week, towards the end of this week. But till then, you stay safe, happy trading. Bye bye.